Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
I used to enjoy lighting up a bowl of black tar heroin at work, but with today's climate, you can't smoke anywhere. That's why I got the Electrotope electronic pipe. You hear that? It sounds like I'm freebasing smoking a pipe, but it's electronic. Looks like a bass pipe, feels like one, tastes like one, and most of all, it feels real. That's because the real chemicals you enjoy are being delivered by harmless water vapor. It uses highly sophisticated micro-automation technology to make the consuming of hard drugs healthy, discreet, and pleasurable. And it's completely safe. Pick from many different cartridges and flavors. Peanut butter flavored meth, cheesecake cocaine, bubblegum flavored heroin, just to name a few. Finally, there's a safe and discreet way of blazing a bowl.
Visit electrotokesystem.com today.
Shut up and sit down.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Third Shift. This is episode 436, and I, of course, am your host, your funky leader, the greatest man who's ever lived. It's me, it's Matt, and I'm pumped for the show because with me, as always, it's the Lightbearer, the Lightbringer, the Beastmaster, Third Shift. It's Eric, and he's here to tell us how his week has been going, and I'm smart this time. I got out of intro mode, and I thought, because I actually thought about this before I left work, and I went, don't go into intro mode because Eric's going to get mad at you. I know the week itself has been bad, but how about that weekend? Tell us how your weekend has been. Did you do something fun there before all the bad stuff happened? Anything? Come on, give us something, Eric.
Man, I tried to think. I really did, man. I tried to think. I said, there's got to be something I did as good. And there was only one thing, for God's sakes, I can remember that I did. It was positive. Was I beat Yee's 10 Nordings. Beat. It's under the belt. It's handled. I want to talk about it more, but I'm in a sour mood. I'm tired. I don't feel good. So let's save it for post this stupid tax in when I'm in a good mood and awake and fresh, because it was a lot of fun. There's some stuff I'd love to chit chat about with the ending and how it all went down, because it was neat, and I really enjoyed it. And it was even mildly abrupt, actually, because I was having so much fun, and then it was over, and I went, oh, well, I mean, that was cool, but there wasn't even like a bad guy really, which we'll explain when we get to it, but. So yes, got that beat, and then I popped in Silent Hill 2, because that's one I said I was going to go to next, and I'm having fun with it. It's definitely intense. It's definitely Silent Hill 2 for sure, and I am still having, gosh dang, I swear I spend most of my life in this game with the red outline, just wah, 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 wah. It's like most of the game, I'm just living in this existence of almost dead as I traverse this place. Handling business. And then, of course, I'm starting to get to the place where Pyramid Head is popping up, and I'm always in the red. And I'm like, this is it. This is it. I'm going to get killed here. And it's going to be a really difficult, hard to get by spot. And this is going to be the spot that stops me, makes me not play for a few weeks. And then I just go, well, maybe I'll let it slide. But it hasn't happened yet. I've managed to get out of any predicament and trouble that I found myself in. And sporadically, just as things seemed the direst, they always got one little piece of health for me to get me out of the intense red into just the light red of mild death. And that's at least workable, because it's very unsettling and not fun, to be honest, when I'm just deep red flashing and any moment's going to be the last moment. I don't like that. That's not cool. I don't remember that being a thing in the original Silent Hill 2. Probably wrong, because I played that in 2001, so I don't remember, but I just don't remember there being that intense red all over the screen constantly. And I couldn't have been that much better of a player back then, that I was actually just full health, rocking and rolling, no issues. Or maybe I was, because I'm now 40-something and I suck at most things, so definitely possible. Who knows? And then, of course, last but not least in the gaming world, and this is over the weekend, mind you, this week is trash. It's tax in. I haven't done anything. It's been miserable. I told Matt off air, I haven't been feeling real good in the in-between from when I wake up to when I take my nap to go back to work. But work itself, honest to goodness, has been pretty good, actually, minus work in general. But I get there and I don't feel tired. I'm feeling awake. I feel great. So I don't know. I don't like the trade-off, though. I'd rather just have it the way it used to be, where I'm mildly tired and shitty at work and felt fine when I woke up. But anywho's, the last game I popped in was some Astrobot, and I might be turning finally. Might be coming around to the Astrobot. I got through the first world boss, got into the next area, and then I saw these stars and I was popping them open, And then I was getting into these quick challenge matches, and that's where I started having fun. Those were good. I liked those. I was having a lot of fun with that. I saved Igus and Teddy and a couple others, and I'm like, yeah, these are my buddies, and these matches are like cool and intense in different ways, and it required me to figure out, how to balance this or do that or use this mechanic, and I was having fun. And I was to the point where I actually wanted to keep playing, but of course, I had to go to take my little nappy poo and go to bed and get ready for the week. And that was it in the gaming world. I played those games. I feel like there was something else I tried out, but not worth mentioning because I don't remember what the hell it was. And real life, I didn't really do too much. I want to say, was there something with robotics or something I had to do with the kids? Maybe that was the last week. That was the last weekend.
No, I think you did that this week. You did a 12-hour robotics fun.
Dude, I don't remember what's happening. These things screw my world up so bad. I did robotics with my daughter. I had to go for freaking 12 hours. I went to this school and I hung out watching all these kids doing different robotics, sitting in this bleacher seat, which I had to constantly get up from. My freaking rear end was almost done for by the end of this thing. And I'll tell you what, I ain't doing that again. I don't care. Because I tried to go to, I know, I'm getting some kind of seat for next year or something to help out with it. But my plan was to go to the truck. Her match, go to the truck, don't watch all these other kids do their thing, who cares, and only come back for her matches. But there's a schedule, but it's fluid. If it goes faster, she could be up sooner. If it goes slower, And I kept telling her, text me whenever it seems to be you're going to be within 10 people of getting in there. That girl didn't text me a single damn time. Not a single time the whole day. I had to just intuitively go, this feels like probably it's going to be in that range. And every single time she was like either walking up to play or the one right behind going to play. So I almost missed like every single match throughout the day. So I'm like, God bless, man. If you just tell your dad when you're going up, I could have comfortably sat in the truck and just napped or read my book or listened to a podcast. But no, you had to just be crazy. So what a day. What a weekend. It was a wild weekend full of stuff. And that's about it, man. What about you?
Man, speaking of a wild weekend full of stuff, my weekend was so packed. I had a 3-day weekend, not like a 4-day weekend like you had. And it feels like I had like one day free. Because Friday night, out to the Wharton Center, saw Tammy Pescatelli, a comedian. Great show. Lots of fun. Had some great food like I always do at that Club 750 venue that they do up there. Awesome. Good times. Even like some good table mates. That's the one thing that I don't like about that venue is it's 4 top tables everywhere. So even when I take mom to a show, well, there's 2 other people we got to sit with, and I'm just not a people person. I don't hate other people, but I'm not a chatty person. I'm not a this or that. But the people I was with that night, 2 chattier old ladies and like a sort of chatty dude, but he was kind of like the quieter type of chatty like I am. I'm like, oh, this is nice. I could just eat. And then, they brought up a subject. Hey, blah, 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 oh, blah, 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 blah. And then the conversation would run away with them. And I could go, all right, cool. I did my little bit. Eats. But anyway, that was a great show. Very next day, Saturday night, back there, same venue, with mom this time, for Gabriel Kahane, which was a guy I'd never heard of, musician. He did guitar and he did piano, like really melancholy type of songs, and then like storytelling in between. Really funny songs too. He did one, and it was like a 30-second song. So I don't know where he put this in, or if it was just a fun bit that he decided to do. A song about Marie Kondo holding up a guy and saying, does this man spark joy? And then throwing him in a pit when the crowd said no. And I laughed so hard at the end, because the end is like, and then she threw him in a pit. And I laughed, and he did like the look from behind the mic, from behind the piano, and like stare down to me, because I was the only one who laughed really hard at that. It was great. It was a good moment. And then again, great food, a little bit more awkward table time that time, but hey, whatever. A great show. Very next day, Sunday night, because a bunch of our friends didn't have to work Monday, we got together, drinking beers, playing games, eating snacks, talking crap, watching YouTube. The kind of thing we used to do all the time, and we almost never do these days, so it was super nice. I'm not saying that because I know Eric couldn't make it, but I'm not saying it to like bust your chops or anything, but it felt really good. Like, oh, passing shots around? Hell yeah. Oh, passing snacks around? Hell yeah. We'll go out in the garage and smoke, but there's like a giant furnace, so it's totally nice. And we're all just hanging out. And woo! Oh my God, it's 1 a.m. I gotta leave. Zoom, off we go. So just a good time. On the video game front, I beat 1000x resist, or 1000 times resist, or 1000 cross resist, however it is actually said. The game was great in a weird, like A24 indie artsy type of a way. It's one of those games I would like to recommend to everybody because there are such emotional highs and lows and ups and downs and twists and turns and weird things. But I can't recommend it to everybody because it is weird and indie and artsy. But it was great. The issues I had with it before are still there, but the overall story, the clutch, the kind of way you go through and kind of pick your ending, really cool, really good, really enjoyed it. The very next day, I think, after I beat that, I beat The Oath in Felghana, Ys Memoir. That game was, again, okay. Pretty much everything I said about it before is still true. It's okay. I gotta say, though, those bosses are like ridiculous hard. How does Dark Souls be famous for its difficulty and not Ys the Oath in Felghana? Because these bosses don't quit. They do not mess around, and you can learn their pattern. Sure, that's the whole point of fighting a boss that's hard. But then the pattern will just break randomly. Like, okay, he does this, and then I jump in and I hit him 3 times. And for 8 tries, that works. On the 9th try, I do the same exact pattern, and he just goes, wow, everything breaks. And I'm just like, well, I can't. And you can't heal yourself during battle. You can't switch your equipment. You can't do anything. It's just, you go at the boss with what you walked into the boss arena with and blah, go nuts. And it's just hard, man. It's hard and it's old school. I eventually kind of found some fun in it, but it wasn't Ys 10. It wasn't Ys Memories in Celceta. It wasn't probably Ys 8 or 9, but it was okay. It was fine. I'm not mad at it. After that, I was in just a drought. I went, I don't know what to play. I have no idea what to play right now. And I thought about playing Astrobot, and I should have, because obviously I enjoy it. You are enjoying it. But it was right there. It was right on the cusp. And I went, I don't know, man. And then I saw that Kazan the First Berserker, or the First Berserker Kazan, had a demo. Downloaded that. I haven't beaten the whole demo yet, but I played through to the point where I thought the demo was going to end, where you meet the shaman/shaman, and then it kept going. And I went, oh. But so far, and I haven't gone back to it since because of another thing I've been playing, I enjoy it. It feels kind of Liza PE. Block, you can parry, you can dodge. You don't have a jump. It feels weighty, kind of like Eliza P does. And you guys know how I play an Elden Ring or a Dark Souls. I'm the weighty guy. I'm the rock. So I kind of felt like that. I'm enjoying it so far. And then, randomly, apropos of absolutely nothing, sometime over the weekend, the memed phrase from a certain game popped into my head.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night, I can feel my leg and my arm, even my fingers. The body I've lost. The comrades I've lost won't stop hurting. It's like they're all still there. You feel it too, don't you?
You know what? Yeah, that's it. And I watched the Red Band trailer again, that I know this from, for Metal Gear Solid 5. And I almost wept at how beautiful that trailer was. God damn it, I don't know what game to play. That's the game I'm going to play. And I booted it up, and I saw my female combat unit member in the boss sneaking suit, and I went, hell yeah, I remember this. And Quiet was staring at me in the helicopter, and I went, hell yeah, I remember this. But I don't remember how I got here. I remember the fun times I had, but not the story. So I looked at my 93-hour save file, and I said, no, I'm starting fresh. I'm starting again. I'm starting this journey all over again. That story that I had, that was past Matt's story. Future Matt needs to have a story now. I deleted it. I started over again. Oh, there's so much stuff I don't even remember from the beginning of the game. But it's wild. It's so much fun. I'm having a blast. I'm getting that little fish hook in my mouth of just oh man, look, there's an outpost here on the way to the story mission. Might as well clear the outpost. Might as well capture all the dudes. Might as well steal all the things. Might as well rip down all the posters. Might as well get all the materials. All my favorite things from Metal Gear Solid 5 are still there. It's still the best stealth game I've ever played in my entire life. It's awesome. It's fun. It's amazing. I've been having a lot of fun with it. That's my week. What else do we have going on today, Eric?
Well, we ain't got nothing because I ain't got no video game for you because I ain't got the time. I ain't got the patience for it. So you can suck it. And I will say, in my defense, there ain't no damn games, Matt. It's a bunch of garbage. There's garbage out. There was one Metroidvania that's like finally getting its regular release, but it's already been out for like a year in alpha or whatever it is. And I went, I should do that one, but I'm kind of getting. I'll just do a random tangent for a minute instead. I'm getting kind of tired of the like, hey, our game's out in alpha for 3 years. Everybody, wow. Oh, today it's released. No, it isn't. No, it freaking released 3 years ago when you put it in alpha for 3 years. That's when your game released. You know, and you know who's a big one on this one? The game that everybody loves so much, Hades. Woo! Hades 2 has been out in alpha for a year and change now, getting people's Game of the Year awards last year for 2024. Not even out. And then this year it's going to go, guess what, guys? Ooh, we're out now for realsies, though, and wants to get all the accolades and Game of the Year awards again for 2025. Yeah, I'm getting over this a little bit. We got to stop. If your game ain't out, don't let it be out. I don't mind you doing betas. You know, like, hey, come play a beta, come play an alpha, or regular alpha, like an alpha's supposed to be, not where we're just actually out for you to play for an entire year. But let's get back to what it was. I don't like this crap where you're just out for a year. It's a Witchfire game I actually own and would love to play. It's been in alpha for, 2 years now? And a lot of people say it's great and good, and I believe it, but I don't want to play it. I want to play it when it's a game that you finished that's out. Stupid games.
I'm with you to some degree, at the very least. For something like Hades 2, I feel like that needs just release, because you had Hades. You don't need an early access. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a game dev. It doesn't feel like an early access game. An early access game is a game that you just made. Whoopity whoop. We're trying out this thing. We don't really know how it's going to work, and we want feedback on how to build our systems because we're trying to figure it out too. Okay, great. That's cool. Like, I imagine that's cool. I'm not an early access guy myself, but Hades 2, you know how to do it because you just did it, and it was amazing. So just do it more. You don't need, like, unless the video game funding stuff is so weird that you need the influx to finish the game, but then that's a different problem.
That's not
a
even
whole
true
different
anyway,
problem.
Because Hades sold like 15 million copies. So
I'm saying
you got money.
If that was the case, but then that's a whole different problem. But yeah, I don't like it for Hades 2 especially because I was excited for Hades 2. Oh, well, you could play it now, but can I finish it? Because I know that was early access Hades 1. You couldn't finish it. You had to wait for the full game to release to have the end game. So like that, I don't like it. For some other stuff, like a brand new thing, like for Hades 1, I think probably I would have been fine with it if I had known about it before it launched. But the sequel to a game, which is more of the game, I don't like that. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah. And I just feel like it ruins games for me anyway. Like, once again, Witchfire, for example, game I want to play, game I want to check out. But the longer it just stays in this alpha, not coming out to an actual regular game, the less chance there is of me ever touching it. Because I'm going to be like, well, why would I go play this 2023 game in 2025 or 2026 or whenever it actually comes out full retail?
And especially as a more zeitgeisty person, like you listen to everybody who's talking about stuff that's in early access and alpha. So by the time it comes out for you and me, like a regular dude, oh, that's already done with, right? Like everybody stopped talking about it.
I've already heard everybody talk about it and play it.
That's over. It's time for the next hotness, right?
What's the next cool game that everybody needs to be playing and talking about? Yeah, it's over.
Even though it's new for us, it's old for them, so it feels old by proxy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's just for me, it's a shame. I don't like it. So yes, there was one game that I thought about, but it was one of those type games, and I'm tired. Like I said, I don't feel good. I went, I just don't care. I don't care this week. Sorry about it. What do you want from me?
So this was actually a big week for me because I downloaded a ton of demos on Steam, and apparently only one of those games actually came out. Like, I swear all three of them were coming out, and I was going to be like, oh, indie triple game madness, not talk about any of them, but just blast them all. And apparently the only one that came out was None Shall Intrude. That's not right. I didn't check the other ones. Oh, crap. I had so many other tabs open on my phone about all these weird indie games. Anyway, the one I'm going to talk about that I know came out is called None Shall Intrude. This came out on the 21st, developed by Eternaludi and published by Grab the Games for, I believe, only PC. This is what do you think I'm going to say? What do you think I'm going to say? It's a roguelike deck builder. But it's also tactical, and you will appreciate this part. Well, when I get into it more, you'll probably appreciate it. This is a game where you play as the boss. You are like a raid boss. You are the dragon, and you're fighting off the heroes that are coming to beat you to finish the game, essentially. And like you go out and you fight other bosses and all this other stuff. But from what I can tell, and I've only watched a couple of videos because there aren't that many reviews out for it. I watched one review and I was halfway through somebody's gameplay before we started this podcast right here. What it looks like is, like I said, you play this giant dragon instead of like a rogue or an adventurer or a dwarf or whatever. You're this giant dragon and you have, fireballs and this and that and the other thing. But you can influence like the entire field. So when you go into a battle and there's like 3 warriors and an archer, they like literally walk across the field, all these tiles to come get to you, and you just take up the big left-hand space. So you're influencing all the stuff on the ground. You're putting down these big, area of effect things, or you're like plopping down a rock here, which gives you armor, but then your next turn you can play a different card on the rock to make it explode and do a big AoE thing. It looks really cool, and what I think Eric would appreciate is, like I said, you're essentially a raid boss. So I've seen in the trailers, I haven't seen it in action because I don't know if people have gotten to this part or not. Like, you can set up phases for yourself as the fight goes on, from what I understand. Like, you start in phase 1 with these cards and these skills. When you get to phase 2, it unlocks these cards and these different skills. So just like in a proper like MMO boss, even though I don't really know, but I do know, you go through the different phases. You've got a rage mechanic where as you play stuff, you build up rage, and then when you rage out, it like ruins the whole field for everybody. It's a different spin on it. Sure, I mean, we've played like the evil character before, but being an actual like raid boss that can influence the field, and you're going out, fighting other raid bosses, you're fighting the heroes, you're fighting this. I just thought that field mechanic was really cool. And seeing cards play in and on each other, and since you are a dragon, there's like, I don't want to say stages or phases. I think it's called a state. Like, you go into an inhale state where you play different cards to buff yourself up, and then an exhale state where you blow out all the fire and do all the big damage. So you're juggling states, you're juggling phases, you're juggling your rage mechanic. It's like the reverse of an MMO, but I thought it was pretty cool.
No, that is pretty cool. I would like to see that actually in an just straight up RPG though.
So I agree with that.
Because that's an awesome mechanic. Is you're always, 3 to 4 or 5 players, whatever it is. And then you're using weaker singular attacks to combine them to defeat these bosses, these big raid bosses, etc. That would be really cool to go through a game where instead you're using these over-the-top large mechanics, large attacks, large defense buffs, etc., to defeat smaller creatures that are trying to combine their, weaker intellect / magic, whatever, to come against you. That would be a cool role reversal, and that's kind of what this is doing, but it's doing it with the deck builder stuff. And I would say it'd be cooler to do it in an actual RPG instead, where you have to think about your turn just like you would in any other RPG, but on a much different level now, because your attacks attack everybody, or it does this debuff that makes it so the guy who's going to heal them can't heal him now, things like that. That'd be really cool.
The only one I can think of that sort of did it, not quite on that scale, was the other half of Breath of Fire 4.
Yes.
Because you played as Fo Lu. You were the Emperor, and you fought off, it wasn't hordes, but it was like, a party of 6 dudes, and, I turned into a giant dragon, and I went, so something that gives at least a little bit of it.
Yeah, and that was always a really cool mechanic, always a really cool game. Let's see some more of that. Come on.
Heck yeah, but if you want to check out None Shall Intrude, like I said, it's on PC. I think it's only $15. So if you got enough room for another roguelike deck builder, or just you want a different spin on it, it's super cheap. Just get it, check it out. The art style's pretty cool. The sound effects, it's like dragons roaring and stuff going, and heroes going, roar. So it's great. Check it out. It's cheap. It's fun. Do it. It's my release. Go get it. I did an indie game. What do you want from me?
Hey, go take a look. And if you don't want to do that, though, you're like, nah, I just got no money. I can't buy no indie games right now. Here's some free games. Lots of free games for you. We're going to start with Epic. Matt, what do you think it is, huh? Behind the frame, the finest scenery? Do you think it?
I don't think it is, though. I don't think it is. I think
they ruined it again.
It's like artsy puzzly, I think. It's not quite it's not quite what it is.
It's a terrible day. The messed up Epic, you ruined our lives. Can Amazon bring it around? I don't know.
Now, I thought Amazon could bring it around, and I know they wouldn't for a lot of these, because we have Deus Ex Game of the Year Edition classic. One of the best PC game ever made, according to certain people. To the Rescue, I have no idea what that is. I don't think that's what it is, though. I was thinking Star Stuff would be it. I was getting ready to pull the chain. I was getting ready to unleash the sound effect, and I looked it up, and it's like an automation puzzle adventure. And then there's something called Spitlings, which, the lack of hopas made me want to spit in a bucket. I spit on my own floor down here. And then Zombie Army 4 Dead War, that's not a hopa either. So I don't.
That's not a hopa either.
I don't care. No. I don't want to throw any of this stuff on my nice desk, but I want to throw something.
But Game Pass is coming around. We already know they're not going to save the day with that one. But I'll tell you one of them for sure. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. Gaiden 2 Black, whatever. That one sounds cool. That one seems interesting. I haven't been a real big Ninja Gaiden fan since I was a kid. But maybe this is where I come back and try to get hyped for something we're going to talk about a little bit later. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe it is. When I saw it later, as part of the thing we're going to talk about later, I went, oh yeah, here we go. But then I saw some footage of it and I went, oh yeah, I remember I can't do these Ninja Gaiden games. They're not just hard, but they're too fast. Like it's too damn much. I remember renting one of them and I just went, it's over. No, it's done. But also on the Game Pass, you can get Lonely Mountain Snow Riders. I'm assuming that's like a skiing game. You're riding on snow.
Snowboard. Nobody skis, man. It's snowboard, dude.
You're the one who goes skiing or used to go skiing.
I love skiing, but it's not cool to ski. It's cool to snowboard.
I mean, you're not wrong. But they also have Gigantic Rampage Edition. So if you didn't get it before when it was free to play, no, it did come back paid, didn't it? Like $20 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can play it on Game Pass if you missed out the first time. Hey, a bunch of good games, though. I'm sad that there's no Hopa. I can't do my sound effect, my cool bit. But I mean, Deus Ex, if you haven't played that, what are you doing with your life? Bunch of other cool stuff if you're not into that stuff. It's a good week for free games. What do you want from me?
It is. It's a decent week. It's all right. We'll get it. We'll get through it. And then, of course, something happened today that I was looking forward to it. Don't get me wrong, but I was expecting more games. I was expecting kind of like a bigger splash of weird stuff happening. But instead, we got an Xbox Developer Direct. But it was focused. It was just 4 games. 4 studios showcasing what they got coming, and none of these were a surprise. All of them are games that have already been talked about in the past, already been shown before. So nothing like groundbreaking, insane, but a lot of fun stuff inside of these 4 games for sure. And they did it in the dev style where the devs are talking about it, and you're inside of their studio kind of wandering around from desk to desk, person to person, doing all that, which is fun. Sometimes mildly annoying, but that's only for me because I'll see some of these people looking so crazy, and I'm like, you look too crazy for me. You're a crazy person. I don't like you. That's neither here nor there. So we'll start off at the top, Matt. Ninja Gaiden.
I was just going to say, I don't disagree with that. But at the same time, I liked that these all got a lot of depth on a lot of these games.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of stuff from, we're going to start with Ninja Gaiden, but a lot of stuff from South of Midnight and Clair Obscur that I didn't know, or things that I could peel out from the trailers because we saw so much stuff. So I liked it. I was a little disappointed that there weren't 8 studios with 8 games, but we got to see a lot of the games that were here. Like you said, Ninja Gaiden 4, Ninja Gaiden Black. I'm not a Ninja Gaiden fan. It's too fast. It's too scary. I die all the time. I'm scared. I don't like it. It's too fast. I got to be slow and like a rock. Could I be like Rockman?
I was going to say, you're the opposite. You're the tank guy. Yes. You like to go slow. This is more up my alley. I love fast-paced games. I love jumping around and doing wild spin attacks and just outrageous things. So it was looking cool, but I will admit, Ninja Gaiden's typically been a little bit too hard for me in the past when I did play and mess with them, so I fell off. That's why I haven't played one many years. But maybe here's where I come back, because the deep dive was really cool. They're teaming up with Platinum Games in this one, so you've got the minds behind Nier Automata, etc., and of course Team Ninja, rocking and rolling with Ryu and the gang from back in the day. I want to see what that mix is all about. I want to see if it brings any kind of new nuance to the game, because you're not playing as Ryu, you're playing as I don't even remember his name. I'm terrible at names anyway. He's part of the Raven clan. He's an up and coming ninja master. So it's going to be cool to see his progression through this story and how he takes things and wants to save Tokyo, etc. versus your old school typical Ryu, the stoic ninja hero that we've all come to know over the years. I am looking forward to this one. They were showcasing a lot of their like the traversal. They've got all the gimmicks there. They've got the wall running. They've got the rails going all crazy. And they said specifically that because of the corruption inside of Tokyo, everything's been devastated. Everything's fallen apart. And anything you jump to or utilize as a platform could at any moment turn into something different and or break or turn into a different mechanic altogether. So prepare yourself for all sorts of fun traversal moments. So like if you played Stellar Blade and you really liked a few times where the level had you grinding down these tubes and doing all sorts of nonsense, you're going to get that pretty much all the time in this game. And on top of it, you're always going to be jumping from one of those scenes into a combat scene, fighting these really cool ninja-looking things. And, of course, you got the samurai warriors as, like, mid-level bosses, and then these big over-the-top warriors coming at you. It looked really solid. The only thing I will say is a lot of it so far real dark. And then, obviously, there's a reason it's dark because of the corrupted rain that's always falling, da-da-da-da-da. But I'm hoping that through neon lights or whatever the case, we get some vibrancy. But I did see in the artwork, they had them going to kind of like the shrine forested areas and stuff. So I'm hoping you get out of Tokyo itself and get into some forests and or mountains or something else. So it just varies your locale a little bit throughout the game. But it didn't showcase a ton of that. So maybe they're just keeping it under the cuff till later. Who knows?
And you said something that I didn't hear at all. And granted, since I knew it was a Ninja Gaiden thing, I was kind of taking notes on some other stuff. But I had no idea the Platinum Games people were helping them out or they were teaming up with that. I love a Platinum Games title. So maybe this will have just enough Platinum so I can start getting into the Ninja Gaiden. Because when it was all Ninja Gaiden, it was too much. But I can do some Bayonetta. I can do some Platinum action. Maybe this will be the one. Just like you said, maybe this will be the one I can get back into it and actually do it. But it always looks cool. It looks amazing. It has always looked amazing. If you're into the fast actions, which I am, but not if it's hard. So, I don't want to be like, I only play slow games. I like fast games too, but not if they kick my butt and make me feel bad and see Ryu Hayabusa cut in half because I can't do anything right.
Yeah, we don't want Ryu getting cut in half. We don't want Raven Boy getting cut in half.
That's right.
We want them to be happy little ninja boys, living their best lives, and hopefully not fighting each other to the death because, of course, it did showcase them having beef with one another. I don't know where that's going or what's going on because they both want to save Tokyo, but apparently not in the same way. So you'll have to tune in and keep track and see what's going on here in the future to find out. And then, of course, it jumped from that and it went releasing in whatever date it was. Was it April or May? I don't remember because, once again, I'm not convinced if I'm going to get this one or not. It's still a 2-watch, so I didn't pay attention. I'm sorry, folks. I didn't give you the date. Dang, I'm a terrible person. But Ninja Gaiden 2 Black Remastered, et cetera, was like, hey, here's a surprise drop for you right now. You can go play it on Game Pass. And that's why we mentioned it up above. So go check that out. Go get a little ninja action on right now while you're waiting for Ninja Gaiden 4 because that was all we got. And then it moved on to another title, man.
Oh, and if Ninja Gaiden 4 is too much action and blood and fast moving and craziness and all out madness, maybe South of Midnight is going to be more up your speed because it's so much up my speed. And the one note I put on here, other than the release date, is
I don't know how you didn't know this.
I had no idea it was Compulsion Games. I had no idea our friends / not really friends because none of them talked to us, but our friends from We Happy Few back in the day. I had no idea. I thought they just not disappeared like in a bad way, but I assumed they just off into the ether to do something I'd never heard about. Good to see him getting another big project, and especially one that I'm interested in because you are playing as this lady character. Her mom disappears and you're sucked away into a world of Southern Gothic, magical realism, all kinds of wacky stuff. It looked like even more like we saw from the first trailer. More giant characters, big giant bosses, weird, I love the stop motion animation style of it. Because even when it's just the character, when it's just her walking up and opening a chest or whatever, it's got those small little dropped frames, but not in a bad way. Kind of like Spider-Verse-y kind of a style almost. Mm-hmm. But then seeing the big bosses move in that stop motion animation way and seeing how big those goddamn bosses were, like the big old alligator, the huggy lady.
Carrying that spider or whatever it was.
Yeah. And showing that they had different phases, like fully full-on third-person combat with the big spidery-looking lady. And then, it expands out and she's reaching through the walls as you're platforming around.
Little Nightmare style.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool.
And then to me, again, just the size of that giant crocodile boss. And it wasn't just a cutscene. You could see jumping around, and then there were cutscene parts where he flips you up. But I don't know, man. This just looks awesome. I love the movement abilities, like glide and slide, and then do a double jump, and then a little weaved net to kind of give you a little extra whoof. This one looked awesome. It looked like a lot of fun. Lots of cool abilities, a skill tree, all that other stuff. The only thing that scares me is when I was seeing that combat, and the enemies looked really cool, twisted and weird. I really enjoyed their look. but like the amount of health damage they were doing to those enemies in the combat and the style of the bar and the way it would flash white. Obviously, when you were getting ready for some kind of critical attack or something, I was thinking like Liza P. I was thinking like Soulsy sort of combat. And obviously, you're pulling enemies, you're pushing them around, so it's more dynamic than that. But I wasn't seeing like big chunks of health come off, so I was like, oh man, is this also going to be hard? But everything else looks so cool. Like this is so for me. This is just looked amazing. I was so glad to see a big deep dive on it.
Yeah, this game has a lot of promise. The locales is really what got me. They went into deep detail on how they wanted every environment that you visit to be really different from the one prior or the one whatever. And that got me. I was like, ooh, I love a game where every time I go to a new area or level or whatever you want to call it, it's just different. Just completely flushed of whatever came before. And I'm in a whole new environment, whole new world, having a great time figuring out what's what in this place. And this game seems to be doing just that. Even with its people that you meet, you're getting like the old redneck in the woods kind of guy, and then you're getting the deep southern, father, whoever, this and that, and just the characters look vastly different from area to area. Every bad guy you encounter is very different depending on where you're at, even though you're doing the same kind of stuff, getting the corrupted or whatever they're called, and using you as a weaver to undo what the corruption had done to them. And like you said, they got the different weapons. She's got like I don't even remember what they're called anymore, but those little hooks, and then you got the spindle, and they tell you all about it and weaving this tapestry and da 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 da. You got to watch it because for me it was all a bunch of mumbo jumbo. It sounded really cool, but I don't know nothing about putting together no blankets and knitting stuff. That doesn't make no sense to me.
One of the other things, and it was a really quick hit towards the end I think it was when they were showing like the spider looking lady. They mentioned the music and how like as you're going through these big boss fights, it's going to ramp up the music and add new things. And it was real quick, but they kind of showed that escalation. And I went, oh, because I love that too. Like you start off with boss fight, oh, you think you know what's going on. Then phase 2, now some other music comes in. Now phase 3, when you've got phase 2 on the ropes, but now phase 3, and just building and building and building, especially with the size and the epicness of those bosses. Woo! I didn't expect much. I was just expecting to kind of see more of what we've seen before, and there was that, but this one got me really excited. I'm hyped for this one, and it comes out April the 8th, which makes me sad because like everything's coming out in April now. So like there's this, 2 weeks later, there's the next thing we're going to talk about. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, April, May, springtime seems real busy right now, and that's going to be a big problem for me. I need to space this stuff out. Like right now. I could take a game right now. I know I'm playing Silent Hill 2, but I could use another one.
I think 100 Line Academy also comes out in April, doesn't it? It's either April or May, like right around this exact same time.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I pre-ordered it like last month, and I went, April? I thought it was like a February time. No, well, I guess April's the time.
Yeah, so we're coming up on all sorts of stuff. And the last thing I'll say about the South of Midnight is I love how it's mocapped and everything, but they still have the stop motion thing going. I don't know what it is about that, but it just looks really good and it feels really nice, just like you said. So for me, I agree with you 100%. But beyond that, the mocap, I think, just helps it because it gives it that real person feel, but with that strange movement and just puts you in a different world. Looks really neat. Check that one out for sure. And of course, the next one's the biggest one, right? I mean,
it's the biggest one for me. I mean, well, other than South of Midnight, which is also big, you want to talk about being in a weird, mystical world with strange things going on. It's Clair Obscure Expedition 13.
13.
Sorry, 33. 13, everybody's dead. We'd be playing as children. I'm not doing that one.
You got kids going on the expedition.
I ain't playing that one. Man. I'm playing as 30-year-olds.
Well, what if I put Persona 13 on there instead? Then you'd play it, right?
13's a little too young, though.
A little too young, you think? You don't want 12-year-olds? Or
high school is like 16. Come on now.
All right, fine.
So I don't know why I said 13, but Expedition 33, when this was revealed before, it blew our frickin' minds. It was revealed more here. My mind was blown, but I was a little cautious on something we'll get to later. What do you think about this one, Eric?
Well, I want to say I wasn't feeling too cautious on this one. I felt pretty optimistic. Now, I will say, after watching the first part of the trailer, I was starting to get a little worried because it showcases the water, the waves, the water, them having a lot of problems, this dark, dreary town, city, whatever it is they're in. And I was thinking to myself while they're talking, I was like, well, where the hell are they going to go? And it looks like they're over this giant ocean. The what is she called? The seamstress?
The paintress.
The paintress is on this giant monolith or obelisk or whatever it is, painting the number. People die. Really depressing stuff. But I'm like, well, where are they going? Are they on some secluded little weird island and we're just going to be in this dreary place? And then as it went, it showcased that is not the case, and that you're going to meet all sorts of different creatures that are living and have been living for gosh knows how long. And well, basically, one of them that's going to be on your team has seen expeditions come and go a million different times. And then I started to open up and get excited again because I'm like, okay, there's a world here. There's a whole world that you don't know about. There's creatures that have been living, because I'm like, well, now there's not a human beyond 33. Well, that's not a lot of people when you start thinking about it. There's a city left. Like, it's going to be some weird, just really secluded game. And it opened up. I was very happy. That changed my mind completely on everything. And then I went, okay, well, what's this all about? And then they start showcasing these creatures that you're going to interact with and how they're not like you. They're chaotic. They're weird. They're vibrant. They're different. They'll fight for no reason. They'll help you for no reason. They'll ask things of you. They live a very just chaotic, just wild life, not caring about pretty much, well, at least from the vibe I got, not caring about pretty much anything but the moment. And I went, if they can put that all out there and really give that life, that sounds cool. Just these crazy creatures you're going to interact with and have fun with. Well, you're not having fun, but you know what I mean? You'll get some fun moments with just to, get the vibe up a little bit from just, hey, we're on this death mission to go die and hopefully kill this paintress in the process, but we're all dead. Hey, your wife's dead, your kids are dead. Well, it wouldn't be your kids, but everybody loves dead. And I'm like, okay, well, hot diggity daffodils. That's pretty depressing. So this is going to bring it up a little bit and then give that kind of random factor, I think, for me. So that's what I'll say to start, because there's some other stuff I want to talk about. But what about you?
No, I agree with everything you said there, because I wasn't like super in the dour zone, but then once I saw Monoko, like the monkey dude with his little mask, and he like swings his little staff with a bell around and bonks himself in the head, and he's like pulling apart a monster. He's like a wacky character who I'm wondering how he joins your crew. Like, does this affect his people at all? Yeah. Because his people are all there. Like, you see a whole settlement of them. Does it affect him differently? Do they like age backwards? Is he like 5 years old and maybe that's why he's so wacky? I don't know, but I love the wacky vibe of him. And then just like the big goofy, I forgot his name now, the traversal guy.
The traversal dude.
It's like the big goofy, like friendly, it's like a big friendly cow, essentially. And like he puffs up and he's like a big old hot air balloon. Like the guy was saying that was the inspiration he had for him. Just like you said, a light, fun tone to them. Seeing him puff up and take you to different areas like over the sea, but then hearing that you can bring him new relics or new abilities to unlock abilities for him so he can take you to different places on this big giant world map, that got me excited. I mean, seeing the different spots, seeing the different things, but then knowing that maybe here he's got to go under here, maybe he's got to shoot through the wind in this weird tunnel thing to get you inside of this cave and find like the super boss, because they mentioned that too. Like, you really got to explore the world map, find all kinds of dungeons and things you wouldn't normally find all the secret bosses. All of it seemed really awesome.
I was just going to tie in the open world. That's what sold it, like finalized everything for me, was when they were like, hey, we got an overworld for you. And I went, oh, cool, okay. And then they showcased it, and it was that just old school fun overworld where they got you marching on land, going on like a slight, curvature like the world would be, and then they said, but trust us, you ain't going to be able to do this on foot. And then they panned out to what the overworld really, really is when you got your big hot air balloon guide. And then you're just seeing tons of different land masses and environments. And then they go, well, there's going to be tons of secret bosses everywhere. There's going to be tons of secret treasures everywhere. And there's going to be entire levels that you can miss because they have nothing to do with the game that are going to be on this overworld. And I went, oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'll be just like in the old days when I would just fly around, going like this, up and down, looking for any cave entrance, anything. I get to do that again, just like I did when I was a kid. And that's kind of what we've been talking about, which leads into the combat this whole time. They wanted to go for that old JRPG feel when you were growing up, but with, of course, today's aesthetics, today's graphics, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then, of course, I just feel good once again about the story, because one of the individuals that was talking, making the story said they spent 4 years just hammering this story together, putting something they think is incredible and well thought out for us. And I went, oh man, I'm really on board. And then, of course, they talked about the characters themselves a bit, which, like you said, I love the monkey dude. And he was like, hey, ladies, I'm going to take it. Bam, hit himself in the head. And they're like, not today, stupid. And I was like, nice.
And you mentioned the characters, and that was something I almost forgot was I love that they mentioned, and this is just a me thing. I'm an old man. You had a jab about the persona thing, but they mentioned, hey, these are all adults with their own problems and stuff that they've gone through. It's not like a bunch of teenagers. Oh man, what's the world like? Oh no, it's my first encounter with something bad. So if they do that right, like the way that I hope they will, because 32, 33, you've seen some stuff. You've figured out who you are. I'm hoping they're all engaging characters. I can tell some I'm gonna like more than others, but like as long as they're adults and they act like adults, and you don't have to like shepherd a bunch of weird teenager acting kids around, that really kind of sparked my interest of just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm full on with you. That did sound cool, but of course, leading into the combat, man, I was excited. We'll see what you got to say with your concern in a minute, but I was stoked because they've got the real time combat going on where you could actually take 0 damage if you parry at the right moments. And I love that system because it keeps you engaged and it keeps you active. However, I will say, idiots like me sometimes, some characters have really wonky hitboxes and whatnot, and I never master it and I get hit for full damage all the time. And usually these type of games punish you heavily if you don't figure out those hitboxes, and then you're freaking on your back foot all the damn time, struggling. But I was happy because they said, you know what, maybe you just don't want to parry all the time. Don't worry, we've got you covered. You can go into skills where instead you're using items and or defensive abilities to counteract not getting the parries, etc., and you won't have to worry about it as much. I don't know how deep that goes because they did showcase some of the stuff, but it was all just here, quick tatter, pitter, patter. I use mine as defense, but I'm the only one that usually uses her as a powerhouse, glass cannon, da. So it wasn't an in-depth look at the combat system yet, but the fact that they did tell you straight out that this is a real-time combat thing. However, you can counter with other abilities and items to stay alive and not be smashed to death because you're an idiot and can't figure out the timing on these things.
That's a piece of one of the things that was bugging me about the combat. Not bugging me, but I'm concerned about it. Because there's a lot of games that start and you're doing like 12,000 damage right off the bat. And it makes it like completely meaningless. Like Octopath Traveler did this a lot, and it's why I had a hard time getting into it. And I saw that a lot in this game. Like I saw in that combat footage, oh man, she's doing like a big swirly dirly and it's doing like 40,000 damage to this boss thing. And it just kind of goes, rrr. And I went, man, is this going to start becoming like that? But then I was smart. When I watched through it a second time, I was looking at the bottom of the screen and I was seeing in some pieces of the footage, they only had 400 HP each. So you're obviously going to start fairly low. But in that footage where she was doing like almost 40,000, they had 4,000 HP apiece. So I'm like, is it going to scale up too much? And then, like you said, if I miss a parry, is that going to do 3,999 damage to me? And I'm just going to be completely on the back foot? I don't know. I hope not. But the fact that you're doing like 40,000 with the 3 hits, granted, not all at once, when you have 4, kind of put me in that weird, like, how scaly is this going to be? Is it going to go too far? And like, by the 3rd boss, you're doing 100,000 damage to something that has 12 million HP. And I'm just going to go, I don't know. Blah. I like it when things start small and then scale up nice and smooth. And from 400 to 4,000 seemed like kind of a big jump. I don't know. That was one of the things that concerned me on that.
Yeah, for me, I got the MMO brain, so that's normal for me. It doesn't phase me. You get to that point where you're dealing 40,000 damage, and even though you've only got 11,000 HP yourself, but it's a boss. So between all of you, it's gonna have a certain percentage, and then if they do it right, they'll scale it to where obviously it's only hitting you for a fraction of that.
Yeah.
Or hopefully it's fine and it turns out to be nothing. But I get what you're saying when you see those giant numbers flying around. You're like, what the hell is even happening? Why 32, 17, flash. I don't know. But the only last part that bugged me, didn't even bug me because I doubt it's going to happen. I hope you get direct control of all your characters because I saw a screen that I don't like. I saw the screen where you get to just give your character, not your main one probably, but the side characters, commands. So patient waiter, timed attacker, healer, da-da-da. It had like a whole freaking screen of all these different titles that you would give via, was it Final Fantasy 12? No, 11 that did it? 10?
It was 12. It was 12.
12, yeah. That did that. And I don't like that system I like direct control of everybody. I will just do it myself, everything I want to do. I don't like having to get these different titles to micromanage what my team members do and how they fight, because I just inevitably think they don't do what I want them to do. And I can't base how I fight off not knowing what they're going to do, because they're inevitably not going to heal when I want to heal. They're not going to cure me or give me the bio or this or that when I want the bio. And so I can't figure out what I need and what I want to do because I don't know what they're doing. I hate that system. I don't like it. So I'm hoping that's an option and not like hey, fundamental, you're just going to control this one and you're going to micromanage those others.
Now, was that the screen you're talking about where there was like 40 choices in like 3 different columns?
Yeah, look,
it was
they
like
had
all
like
over the
4
screen.
different things. And it said they had like time walker, patient, skin taker, blah, 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 blah.
Now, I think that screen where it was just like the whole freaking gamut, I think that's when they were just talking about passive abilities. So that's where you can tweak your character this way and that way. Because everyone had a big skill tree, but then they went, but with passives, you can do anything you want. And then they showed like 9,000 options.
Yeah, that terrified me because I thought it was an active like combat thing, and I was like, oh, no, I don't like this system. I hate that system.
But that still terrified me because the first time you unlock that, unless it goes in stages, hopefully there's like tier 1, tier 2,
and you'll
tier
pick
3.
like 2 out of each stage or something.
Yeah, because I was just picturing like, oh man, set a passive skill and then whoop, 240 options for you.
Hey, start reading.
I mean, the skill tree itself was even like really expansive, looked pretty big on some of those characters. And I mean, hopefully that's all nice and easy to parse. I mean, I'm not an idiot, but you know what I'm saying. When you got to sit through and read through all these different skills and then all these different passives, that was the only other thing I was a little cautious about. Like, give me enough for like 6 passives out of 250. And I'd be like, okay, he's going to be my mage. So mage thing. Okay, he's the tank thing. There we go. I don't know.
I hope that'll be the way it is as well. But we'll have to wait and see, man. We'll have to wait and see. But overall, it's looking like it's going to be a fantastic game. Mm-hmm. A smaller team made it, but they look like they put a lot of love and time into this thing, and it's really coming out and fleshing out to look like a full-on sized RPG.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if that's the case. Maybe it'll just be a 15, 20-hour jaunt. I'm not sure. Either way, it looks gorgeous, and I can't wait to check it out.
And you're going to check it out on April 24th, and this is the one. Yeah, it was this one. Because I was like, oh, yeah, and I rubbed my hands together and went, that looks really cool, even though I have some trepidations. I'm going to do it. I'm getting a collector's edition. I'm getting like a map. I'm getting a bauble. I'm getting a thing. And they said, hey, but it's coming day 1 to Game Pass. And I went, I can't get my precious baubles then. I can't, because it's free. Why would I spend $90 when I could spend $0? And then that part of my brain that I'm trying to, New Year's resolution away went, screw it, dude. Just get it. Just go for it. You can do it. You
can do it. Get on the PlayStation.
But it's free right here. It's free. It's free for this. Free on that.
That'll allow you to buy all your baubles and goodies.
I know.
Well, I mean, you get your trophies on your PlayStation with this one.
And then I could look and be like, I got 1 trophy more than Eric. I'm going to lord that over him at the end of the year. Baba-da-hoo.
Yeah, you like that Expedition game, but I platinumed it and you didn't. Who's a real fan?
Now, come on. I never say that. But it is fun to look at that and be like, oh, I platinumed it today. And you'd always go, well, I got no time for that. I got to feed the kids. I got to go to robotics competition for 18 hours. If I
supposed to play the goddamn game? Why all these games got you replaying the damn game? Why I got to do all this? Why can't I just beat a game and get a platinum?
Exactly.
I would love to talk a lot about the last game, but I'm running very low on time here, so I'll be brief. Matt don't care about Doom, which truly breaks my heart because Doom is near and dear to my heart, and I love Doom. But I'll say this. That little cool in-depth look has me so stoked. I love 2016 Doom. I love Doom Eternal. I love old school Doom. This one's like, hey, we want to go back to the roots. We had you running and gunning in Doom 2016. We had you flying and zipping around like some kind of acrobat psychopath in Doom Eternal. We want you stomping around, pulling up the shield, and just gunning these dudes down in one-on-one combat like you did back in the day. And I went, well, this is Matt's game. Got a big shield. You go, doo, 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 boom, 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 boom. And they even showcased it. by doing a whole just nice, cool playthrough session of how you'll just act, how you're going to act and do what you do as the Doomslayer in this one. And it's got that old school vibe, 3 or 4 coming at you at once, and you just going up and hammering them, gunning them with the shotgun, kicking them, getting the auto loot, and just getting in everybody's faces and doing it. Yeah, you're still a little bit quicker than obviously old school Doom, but you are nowhere near as fast as you were in the previous 2 Dooms. It's definitely got you clunking around. It's a prequel to Doom 2016, which, as you can imagine, it's Dark Ages. You're back in the big war. You'll see all those giant Eternals and the demons all dead in Doom Eternal and Doom 2016. You were in combat while those things were alive, and in the background, they're over there just stomping around, killing things, fighting in these giant Goliath mech suits, and you're down on the ground, which you'll be up there eventually because, of course, there's dragons and everything else you're going to be riding. Oh, they showcased some guns. They said they wanted to go for the crazy Doom feel with the guns this time around. So all their guns are basically your BFGs and your heavy hitters and your crazy guns. They don't got none of the little rinky-dink stuff this time around. And they showcased one, which was from a Quake game, the nail gun. But it's like this gigantic nail. I mean, like 3 times as large as the what do they call the train nails, attacks or whatever. It's like 3 times larger than one of those bad boys, and you're just shooting that thing out. And the way it sounded, and just shoot out this huge spear, basically, and just murdering demons with it. Man, it got me so excited. I can't wait to play this. And, of course, it releases like May 15th, I think. May 11th, May 15th, somewhere in that range. And I went, another spring game coming at me. Oh, it's going to be too much. But I got to play this one because I've played them all before this. And I love them to death. And this one will probably be my favorite. Maybe. We'll see. Because it's slower. I like the other 2 being fast and crazy. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes it's over my head. It's going too nuts. And I just can't keep up. And I'm over here just going around like a million times trying to clean up because I can't time all the hits right and do what I'm supposed to be doing. So maybe this one will be easier for me to complete. We'll find out.
And maybe I'll check out the actual footage of this one because with it being slower and more methodical, not like methodical, but you get what I'm saying. More methodical. Like you said, that is more up my alley. I feel like the other ones, it was just like constant glop. Just you'll see all like the rip-off head animations by the time you're done with one room because you rip all the heads off every single dude.
You're ripping heads off like a psycho, flying around.
I'll go back and check out the video of this one. And something that you all should check out is the answer to Uncle Matt's Trivia Corner from last week. As you recall, the question was, what is the name of the race of insect aliens in the 1984 game Elite? Those were the Thargoids. Nobody got that one. I didn't expect anybody to get that one. All right. Flipping around the card. There's a new card. Which one are we going with? No, we're going to go with the other one.
He goes, nope.
I'm just going with these 2. What do you want from me? Anyway, this week's question. In BioShock Infinite, which we just talked about not too long ago, which vigor allows Booker DeWitt to control ravenous birds?
I don't know. Oh my God. I don't know. I don't even remember what the vigors are. I mean, I know it's the magic or whatever, I think, but I thought they were color based. Yellow vigor.
It is.
Okay.
It's something somebody could possibly get.
Yeah.
So if you know the answer to that question, or if you have any comments for us, questions, concerns, mailbag questions, if you just want to say hi, send that to us via the email, thirdshiftme@gmail.com, on the Twitter machine at ThirdShiftME. Find us on Facebook under Third Shift, hit the Discord, the Patreon. If I'm streaming, hit up a stream, hit up my house, just hit it with a snowball, and I'll go, what was that noise? Oh, blah, blah, blah. That's how we'll do it.
Indeed. You can do that, or you can go to Patreon. Throw $1, $2, $3, some kind of bucks our way. Help us out. Keep the lights on. Pay those bills. We'd appreciate it very much if you take the time to go do that. If you can't, you're too busy, you can go help us out in a million other ways. Discord, go be a friend over there and talk and chat. Mailbag questions so we can have some fun stuff to talk about that you want to hear us yap about. Or 5-star ratings on the Spotify and iTunes. Those things will help us get up in the metrics and the ratings. Go over to Twitch. Throw your Prime sub our way or just throw cash our way in that respect. But if you're going to throw cash our way, you should probably go do it to the Patreon because the Patreon will get a better split. You know what I'm saying? Just saying.
And you can also listen to the very next episode, which will be dropping on or around the 29th of January. It's got to be a Wednesday episode because on the 30th, I'm going to be on a plane, flying away to go get on a boat But you can find that episode on iTunes and Stitcher, on Podbean, on Spotify, and on YouTube. And I don't care if any of those are wrong, because, hey, if you like what we're doing and like to help us out, please give us a like, a rating, a review, a comment, a subscription, any kind of good thing on any one of those good services, because it does help us out, and we really do appreciate it.
We do indeed appreciate it. Just like we appreciate 5-star reviews. Come on, I need some pumped up jams. I need you to pump the jams up, because I got to go to work all night long tonight and the next night and probably the next night and probably the next night. So you know what? If I had some 5-star power, maybe I'll make it. Not positive on that, but maybe I would. So consider it in this dire time of need for your homeboy Eric. Giving a 5-star rating. Be very much appreciated.
Hey, with that, there's nothing else to say but...
Don't forget to
say...
Shut up and sit down.